My name's Marissa. I'm a personal trainer with Gainesville Health and Fitness, and today we're going to go over some healthy swaps you can make to support your heart health. So the very first thing that we're going to prioritize is trying to reduce our saturated fat intake. And this is just because saturated fat is really associated with increasing our LDL levels, which is our low density lipoprotein cholesterol. And that cholesterol has specifically been associated with increasing our risk of heart disease. So we're trying to keep that saturated fat intake a little bit lower. So some ways you can kind of make some swaps out in your diet to do so is trying to use some oils that are plant-based and liquid at room temperature instead of butters with your cooking. So that's a really easy swap to make. And another thing that you can do is take some higher fat meat products, whether you're getting a higher fat cut, and substitute that out for a lower fat cut. Or you can substitute out, some red meats, which tend to be higher in fat content. And again, that'll be that saturated fat, that animal fat that's solid at room temperature. And substitute that out for maybe fish once a week, which has some really great source of our omega-3 fatty acids, which really support our heart health. So those are some ways you can kind of make some swaps and reduce our saturated fat intake. Another thing that's going to be important for heart health is trying to reduce our sodium intake, because this can be associated with increasing our blood pressure. And when we have a higher blood pressure, our heart has to work a little bit harder, and so it can put a little bit of strain on our heart. So some easy ways to try and reduce your sodium is trying to find some lower sodium products at the store, especially for your processed products. So for example, for a broth, like a chicken broth, I always look for that low sodium label when you're in the grocery store, and that'll have a lot less sodium in it for any soups or chilies that you're making. And another really big culprit of sodium can be pasta sauce. So you can look for either sauces that have lower sodium levels on the nutrition facts label, because sodium is actually something that's required to be on the nutrition facts label, so it will always be there. It's really easy to compare. Or you can try and play around with just getting plain tomato sauce that's just pureed tomatoes and incorporating in some onion and garlic and basil and adding some flavors yourself to make a lot lower sodium version, because a lot of times they use sodium as a preservative to keep it shelf life stable. And if we're able to make some extra things at home on our own, it can really kind of cut out some of that sodium. I hope that these tips help you prioritize your heart health this February, and I hope that you have a great day.